He's back! Today on Homeworthy, renowned interior designer Joe Minton takes us on a tour of a stunning Dallas home he designed for his clients, Michele and Jack Lafield. The couple wanted a home that blends inspiration from both the past and present, and Joe delivered with sleekly furnished rooms, rich fabrics, and luxurious finishes. Joe reminds us that no matter how far you are in your career, there's always more inspiration to discover. Enjoy! You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Joe Minton. Welcome to Dallas. Hi, Homeworthy. I'm Joe Minton, back again. I was the 90-year-old decorator who did my house for Homeworthy, and now I'm in another job I did that's quite different, very contemporary. I love doing different styles of houses. I've done many traditional houses. I've done completely modern, and that's what this one is. We're in a wonderful house designed by Ralph Dusing, who was a wonderful architect who just retired. I'm sorry he retired because I like working with him. He recommended me for this job because I'd worked with him on some other houses. I interviewed with the clients and they hired me. And since we've become very dear friends, doing a house with a client is a very good way to make very good friends. This is the entry. My clients are big art collectors and have some very important pieces. Here in the entry is a fabulous piece by the Indian artist Anish Kapoor. My friend Axel Vervoort in Belgium represented him, or does represent him. An interesting story, I met Axel when he came to Dallas to do two different houses for Betty Gertz. We had him over to our house for cocktails, and then we all went to lunch. And he liked everyone at the table, and he said, I want to invite everyone at the table to come to Belgium and stay with me in my castle there. And he shouldn't have done that because a week later, the whole table was in Belgium, outside of Antwerp. And that's when I first saw all the Anish Kapoor. But my clients knew all about him, and I think they got this piece in Switzerland. It's just fabulous, and if you stand in front of it, it's amazing, all in cracked ice. I did this round ottoman here, sort of repeating the circle. I want to talk a minute about the floor. This is Luder's limestone, which comes from an area outside of Albany, Texas. It's a Texas limestone, and I just love it. We've used it a lot. And I came up with the idea when we were working on the plans of doing some designs with the stone, using part matte finish and part shiny. And So I put tracing paper on the plans and started drawing, and I came up with this circle here where we have the dining table, which also is the entry table. The walls are wonderful, smooth plaster with a slick finish that feels wonderful. And over here at the fireplace, we did the same plaster with in black, and then did the marble. Ralph Dusing designed the wonderful mantle done in black. The two chairs and ottoman here in front of the fireplace are by the French designer Christian Liègre, and they are in silk mohair, or mohair and silk. The walls in here are actually a charcoal gray plaster with a wonderful smooth finish. The table and chairs were one of the few pieces that my client had that we used, and we did the chairs in a lavender leather. This is a wonderful Bernini chandelier. There's an interesting story about that. I found it in an antique shop, and I was so excited I thought it's perfect for this house. So I called my clients to come look at it, and the day they came to look at it, the damn thing had fallen from the ceiling of the antique shop and broken all of the crystals. But we replaced all of them with antique ones, just like the original. The inspiration for this house that Ralph Dusing and I came up with, and the clients did, was a sort of 1930s Art Deco, inspired by the wonderful late French decorator Jean-Michel Franck. We used materials that Jean-Michel Franck used, such as shagreen, metals, and we used leather on the walls and blocks. Now I'd like to show you the living room, so follow me. Again, this wonderful Luder's limestone flows through the main part of the house. We nearly always do the furniture plan on a floor plan of the room, and so we came up with doing 2 seating areas here with matching rugs. We actually designed the rugs they were made by Coquelin in France through Taiping rug company, and they are silk and wool, and the design, the silk and the wool were dyed exactly the same color, and the pattern appears with the difference between the wool and the silk. I designed this coffee table and had a wonderful artist in Fort Worth, Alice Bateman, make it. And again, it's a Jean-Michel Franck influenced piece, and it's done with 3 metals. There's a bronze and brass, and actually 2 shades of bronze. This area is for viewing the television, and over here we've got our grouping around the fireplace that uh, is a wonderful fireplace designed by Ralph Ducey, and that's all done with metal. I think these are beautiful chairs. They're done in a silk velvet. I should mention the color scheme in here is very neutral with accents of lavender, which is Michele Lafield's favorite color. It's very important to incorporate a client's favorite colors into a room. And one interesting thing I found that when I've worked with a client who has a favorite color and wants nearly everything in that color, it makes me like that color more. And I found myself using that color on other jobs. So I fell in love with lavender. The pair of chandeliers here in the great room are by John Boone, who's in the David Sutherland showroom. I don't have a favorite part of the house because I love all of it. We worked on all parts of the house. I think that this house is really perfect. I think the furniture, the architecture, the landscaping, I think everything turned out beautifully. Now I'd like to show you the library, so follow again. This is another circle I did with the Luder's limestone between using the polished and the matte finish. The X stools here are by Natasha Baradarin, and we covered them in a lavender horsehair that we had made, and I think it's a wonderful material and wears like iron. Now we're in the library, and again the Jean-Michel Franck influence with the panels of leather that we put on the walls with a cove ceiling that's very much like what Franck used in the 1920s and 30s. We lined up the lines of the leather panels. There's a secret door here that will open into a bar area. And we've got another Vanini glass fixture in here. And again, the smooth plaster on the ceiling. This room has a wonderful view out to the pool and terrace. And we'll go out there in a minute. Another interesting thing we did in this room is we bordered the floor with the Luder's limestone, but we changed the center of the floor to wood. It's a bleached oak. Okay, now we're in the master bedroom. The bed, it's a wonderful four-poster connected at the top. And this was made by Hellman Chang in New York, and also this cabinet which holds the TV, which rises up with a button. And we did a silver finish around here. The bedside tables were made by Alexander Lamont, who is now represented by George Cameron Nash. It has a wonderful octopus pull here that splits in the middle and opens the two drawers. And it's covered in mica, which is a material that Franck used in the 30s. We have a wonderful piece of coral here on a pedestal. These little tables are Holly Hunt, and this is a wonderful glass that in this pale lavender color. The fireplace, again, was designed by Ralph Dusing, the architect. Design element in the room is the return air vent, which is up there. And that was Dusing's design, and I think it's absolutely fabulous, that circle. Instead of having a grill, he's just got a circle on the wall, and the return air goes behind the circle. And it makes a wonderful design element in the room. I've been busy since the last episode with my own house. I've worked on a big lake house at Lake Granbury, which we're still working on. I've just recently got a new job of doing a condominium in a new building called the Knox, of 3,000 square feet from a wonderful client. I'm doing a wonderful big townhouse in Fort Worth that I did when the house was built for another client who has since died, and now the new client, I'm doing the house over again, which can be difficult, but it's also fun because I can make drastic changes. We had a 2-story library in the house, and it was all paneled, and now I'm going to paint it in a lacquer, a shiny lacquer. And I'm painting it black, which sounds drastic, but it actually looks very good. Now I'll take you over to the kitchen and dining area at the other end of the house. Before we get into the kitchen, I want to show you this design we did in the floor with the Luder's limestone, again using the polished for a border and the matte in the center, which echoes this passageway. Now I'm seated in the kitchen in the keeping area. The kitchen was designed by Balta, the German company that makes wonderful kitchens. And the cabinets are in a metal, in a silver or white gold finish. And we've got a fireplace designed by Ralph Dusing for the house with a television above it. And then a nice little seating area here where I am. And the floor is, we've gone to the wood in the center, and this time we did it in a dark finish, and then it's bordered in the limestone, which continues, ties in with the living room, and then goes back to the hallways going to the guest rooms. The light fixture in the kitchen is by Jonathan Browning from David Sutherland's showroom. I get inspiration from many sources. One of the biggest is probably traveling. I've traveled a lot. I've been to China and Russia and India, and I go to Europe frequently. I have 2 grandsons now in college in England. Well, once in London in graduate school, and the other is at St. Andrews in Scotland. So that gives me many reasons to go to the UK. I don't think my design has really changed during my 50-year career. The things that I did 50 years ago, I still like, and I think they're still viable. Now we're in the wonderful backyard with the pool and the terrace. The landscape architect was Richard Moore, and the pool, we'll go over here and see. The pool is done with a mixture of different colors of tile in blues and lavenders. The back of the house is very pretty. I think my advice for designers just starting out is to trust your taste and don't be afraid to take chances.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.